Hi, guys. Blessings to the children of God. I told you yesterday that I was going to come back and let you see. I got the chicken in the in my roaster. I put two big fat hens in there, and I seasoned them up. What I seasoned them with was well, turn to God our Father. We just thank you for another day, God. I just pray blessings, Father God, over your children, Father God. And God, I pray that we all learn, Father God, so that we can get ourselves prepared, Father God, for the years to come. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. I got I got everything in the stock, but I put two big fat hens in there because that's all would fit. And I chopped up some celery. Blessings to everyone. Blessings, Angela. I chopped up some celery. I pulled some chopped onions out of the freezer, and I pulled some cut up carrots that came out of the garden last year. I pulled them out and I put them in there. And then I seasoned it with some garlic, some black pepper, some basil, and some onion powder. So I'm gonna let those cook on 200 all night, and I put like what 8 cups of water in there. And the chicken, they're gonna make a broth as well, but I'm gonna need that extra broth for when I get ready to do the for when I get ready to can the chicken tomorrow. Cause I'm gonna once it cooks, I'm gonna let it cook, and then around by 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll come downstairs and check it. Cause I got it on 200, so it's gonna cook really slow. I'm gonna come down and check it, and if I can pork a fork in it, it's ready for me to cut it off, and then hopefully by 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow, it'll be cool. I'm gonna see if I can put this thing where you can see in here. I hope you can see. I hope you can see that. It smells good. Smells really good. Uh, and also, I want to show you my finished product of the jelly. You see how simple that jelly was to fix? He ready. He will not turn upside down. He is ready. You can shake it, whatever you want to do. This, it's ready. You can eat it now, or you can put it in the pantry. It made 12 of the half pint jars. I didn't take it up to a quarter of an inch, but that far as that's high enough because my son will eat that jar by himself. So there's no sense in adding to what my son is eating. But anyway, I've been out in the garden. You remember the collard slips I showed you yesterday that were big enough for me to up pot and put back out into the garden. I went out with those and I put those out in the garden. I had a busy day. I put those back out in the garden and I watered them in real good. And I have collard greens out there now that are actually big enough for me to go ahead on and pick. And I could either cook them or I could blanch them and put them in jars and put them in the pressure canner and put them in the pantry for for the winter, over the winter. That way you'll have greens. Anything go wrong, you'll have some greens. I'll have some greens, some pinto beans, some butter beans, stuff like that. But yeah, I put those. I'm probably gonna go pick those. Uh, and like I said, blanch them. I probably just put them in the. I might put them in the pressure canner. Or I might just go and I might leave them out there and wait till the day before Thanksgiving. And that way we'll have some fresh collard greens. And also, guys, remember the video I did about making homemade sausage? I'm going to show you a pack of it. Can you see? Well, I pulled it out of the freezer so you can see it. But see, it turned out really good. It made like 24 packs like this was how I packaged it. So see, I got the date on there when I did it. 10/24/2024. So I'm gonna put that back in the freezer right quick. And also, well, the peppers, I've already put those in the pantry. But I went outside this morning. I didn't like to go over in the corner where I planted these bell pepper plants, because every time you turn around, there was a frog popping out somewhere. There's one frog out there in my garden that he is even quicker than the mighty shovel. So he lurks over there. But either way it go, I went out there, and these are what I had growing. Oh my God. This one was so big it was laying on the dirt inside the tub where I had planted it. All three of my pepper plants they're in a big old tub, like those tubs that they use at the daycares to pick up all the toys and put them in there with the handles on them. That's where I got these from. And I went ahead on and pulled all of them because uh it's cold outside, and then I didn't want them to ruin. So I got them all in. I'm gonna chop them all up, but I think they're just so pretty. None of them have a blemish on them at all. None of them. I went through and searched them for, worm bites and everything. I think you can grow them indoors, because what I'm going to do with those, the plants out there, because they look like trees. They're about from the floor to about right here. And so I was going to overwinter them. And what you do, if I overwinter them, I got to pull them up, wash all of the dirt off of them, and bring them in and put them in a pot of fresh dirt. And before you do that, you cut all of the stuff. I'm going to show you one. Hang on. This is my cayenne pepper plant. Okay, he's got a little bitty leaf, 2 or 3 of them growing on there. I cut everything off of him, but I kept the Y, and I put him in this pot, and I keep him watered, and he'll grow back out over the winter, and then I could just put him back outside. So that's overwintering it. Okay, so said that to say this: the bell pepper ones, like I said, they look like trees. So I'll probably take all 3 of them and put them in one of the bucket. I got some 5-gallon buckets that I already got ready. I drilled the holes in at the bottom, and all I got to do is go cut them, go pull them up, rinse their roots off, get all of the dirt off. You don't want to bring any of those aphids in the house. And I'm going to bring them in once I cut all of the greenery off, cut all of it off, and just leave that Y at the top, and the little nodes, some of the little nodes on there where the leaves, were growing and stuff, leave those on there, and you can bring them in and overwinter them. I don't know if I'll probably just sit them in the pantry, because I don't want to chance them in the garage because it may get too cold. But if I sit them out in the pantry, the temperature should be just right for them in there. And then also my ginger that was growing out in the backyard, I had it growing in a tub, and if you grow it in a tub, you can bring it indoors and let it finish growing. So what I did was I took it out of the tub I had it in, because it was just like root bound, like clumps of ginger, but they have not fully developed. They're like little. So what I did was I washed all the dirt off and separated them into 2 clumps and put them into some big pots. They were like this big around and about this deep. And I put them in there and filled them up with fresh dirt. And so you can't just put them in the garage because they're used to warmer temperature, and the garage may get too cold. They have to be between 60 and like 80 degrees, because they're like tropical. So I got them in, and I got them sitting in their pots, and they're just going to grow in the kitchen. And when the sun comes out daily, I'm going to open the curtain and let the sun shine on them. I'm pretty sure they can't tell the difference, but I'm going to let them continue to grow right there in the patio door window. So I'm excited about that. But guys, like I told you, I meant to bring a bag of them, but I got them put up and I forgot to get them. But guys, are y'all familiar with that 15 bean soup bag that they sell in the store? 15 bean soup bag, and it's got this little seasoning packet in there with it. If you're familiar with that, those beans in that bag You can lay those out on the table. Good, Angela, good. You can take those beans and lay them out on the table and separate them, and you can grow all those beans that are in that bag. Except for the split peas, the beans that are sliced, that are broken open. You can take those beans and separate those beans and start your beans for next year, and they will grow. And then when next year comes, I usually start mine in, oh, excuse me, my phone was going off. I usually start mine in like January, and I set them on a rack in the kitchen and let them start growing. So they'll be ready for March. And then I just transplant them and take them out in the one of those raised beds. Now I got two raised beds that are clear and clean. I haven't been back to the last raised bed because that's the one where I saw that baby snake. So I'm waiting on it to get a little colder outside. Once January gets here, I'm going to clean that bed. And then I got the other one I need to clean out as well. So I think I'm going to devote this one over here. I'm going to devote it to potatoes for next year. But either way it goes. I'm waiting on my I'm waiting to see what else I can put out there. Because like I said, I thinned out the carrots. And I gave my brother some. And I still have the other side that they really and truly need to be thinned out, but I don't want to kill them. So I was thinking about waiting and let them get like a little bigger, and then I'm going to separate them. But I went back in one of the grow bags, and I got potatoes growing again, and I don't understand. I hope they don't die over the winter because I know they're not big enough for me to dig those up and bring those inside. But if they survive the winter, I'll probably make them like tubers for next year. I'll do them that way for next year. But other than that, everything's out there still growing. The raspberry bush is growing. My goji berry has produced goji berries 3 times this year. So I don't know if she's going to hibernate over the winter or not. So I thought about bringing her in, but I don't know yet. But she's looking pretty good out there still. But either way it goes, we got everything. Like I said, I got everything in, and I showed you the peppers. I showed you the finished jelly. I showed you the sausage. And the sausage is easy. All you need to do is go and get you a pork roast, cut it off of the bone, grind it up. I grind mine twice so it'll be thin. So the sausage ground would be thinner. I don't want a coarse sausage. And then you just put the seasonings that you want. Because like mine, I put like some brown sugar, cayenne pepper, crushed red peppers, salt and pepper and sage. And sometimes you can put molasses in there. Just get you a seasoning. Once you get it mixed up, cook your little patty to see if it tastes the way you want it to taste. And if it does, leave it alone. Just put it in some vacuum seal bags and put it up. But if not, you go back and season it again, mix it up real good, then get another little piece and cook it and see if that has reached the consistency. But bear in mind, don't put too much salt in it because everybody's trying to get away from salt and sugar in this season. But I got everything situated. I'm not going to do any canning. I know that's shocking, but I'm not going to do any more canning until tomorrow to make sure I don't have to run out and get any jars. I still have like 24 that I'll use for the chicken, and I'm not going to do the bone broth until I get those bones out of that chicken and put them back in that pot and let them cook until they're like, soft, bendable, you can squeeze them. And I'm going to let those cook on low all day tomorrow once I've taken the chicken off, and I will strain that out on sometimes Sunday. sometimes Sunday. I'll do that. And then that way, while it's still hot, I can just go ahead on and put it in the pressure canner. And I think it's like 40 minutes, 70 minutes. I have to look at the ball book, just to be on the safe side. I'll do it for 75. If it calls for that, but I'm thinking. But I have to go back and look in the ball book of canning to see. And that is pretty much this video. I just wanted to make sure, guys. But guys, I'm so proud of these. I'm so proud of my bell peppers. I didn't have to go to the store. I got fresh bell pepper to go in my turkey dressing for the holiday. And they're just so stout. I mean, you can't even squeeze them. Even the baby ones are stout. You can't squeeze them. So they don't have any 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 blemishes on them anywhere. Look at it. Look at it. That's pretty. They're beautiful. I mean, every size. Look, no blemishes, nothing. And it came out of my backyard. Now, guys, if I can do it, you can do it. And and nothing is better than organic peppers in the backyard. Organic peppers in your backyard. All of them. They're fabulous looking. I'm going to cut them up, put them in a freezer bag, and I'm going to use them accordingly. Then I'm going to chop them up to go in my turkey dressing. And the rest I'll probably put them in the freezer because I'm not going to put that's a lot of peppers. I think it's like 12. 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, that's 14 peppers that I pulled off of those pepper plants out there. But I can't wait. I'm going to get those. And like I said, I'm going to overwinter them. I'm going to bring them in the house. And I want to put them in a bucket, put them somewhere where they'll be warm, like the pantry. And I'm going to see how they grow over the winter. But that's it. I got some dried herbs that I need to, pull off of their stems and put them in a jar or make a powder out of them. So I got that's the cilantro, and I got some. Come here. Basil. Smells so good. I have some. That's basil too. Basil. I have some oregano. And I'm going to take those off of their stems, and I'm going to put them in jars once I make like a powder out of them. But I might just leave them like that. And I got a big parsley plant outside that looks like a tree. I'm going to cut all of the parsley off, and I'm going to let it dry out. And then I'm going to put it in a jar as well because parsley is good for the body. Everything that's growing, that you grow in your yard, all of those plants are good for the body. The beans, the cabbages, they fight those radicals in the body. Cabbage is good for cancer. Sweet potato, good for cancer. Carrots are good for cancer. And the list goes on and on. You can Google it. It'd be easy if you go and Google the medicinals or get you a book like the one that I have. I don't see it. Oh, I see it. Hang on. Get your book like this one, and it'll tell you what each vegetable It's good for. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna go to the cabbage and see what it says about cabbage. Right quick, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. 54:45, because I know y'all got other stuff that y'all need to be doing instead of over here caught up over in here with me. Cabbage. Uh, you can make the sauerkraut, and the sauerkraut juice. It's good for diabetes. You mix it with a little lemon juice. It helps people control their diabetes and stabilize their blood sugars. Sauerkraut juice stimulates the digestion and the pancreas. It's good for constipation. The cabbage juice, and the sauerkraut juice, all of these have laxative properties. Is that not interesting? I mean, you grow this in your backyard. You don't have to take a peel or anything. You can eat you some cabbage, drink some cabbage juice or sauerkraut juice, whatever. And it says like treating cancer. It says for treating cancer, especially cancers of the stomach, intestines, pancreas, the prostate. It said drink the cabbage juice or the sauerkraut juice twice daily. Finally, chopped cabbage should also be eaten as tolerated. Both cabbage juice and sauerkraut juice have many different beneficial compounds that fight cancer and help heal the body. That's just the cabbage. And it's got so much other stuff in treatment of for wounds, leg ulcers, joint pain, arthritis, skin cancer. Oh my God, intestinal problems. It even got a recipe for sauerkraut. Now I'm going to come on one day and I'm going to show you how to start sauerkraut, because once you start it, it has to sit for how many weeks? The recipe for sauerkraut. It says the equipment. You need a large glass jar or a crock, and I will use a large ball jar. Yep, he did. He supplied us with everything we need, and for everything. So we do that. When you do the cabbage, to ferment the cabbage, you can use a fermenting crock, but you can also use the glass jar, the sauerkraut jar, and you got to let it sit for, let's see, and ingredients for a 1 gallon is 4 liters of sauerkraut, 1 large head of cabbage shredded fine, a few large leaves from the outside of the cabbage, 3 tablespoons of pickling salt, and 1 tablespoon of caraway seed is optional. And then you shred the cabbage finely, add the 2 tablespoons of salt, and say let the cabbage stand for about 10 minutes to draw out the juices. Knead the cabbage for 10 minutes or more to bruise. So when you bruise the cabbage, once you got it in the jar, you working it up with that salt, you're going to work that cabbage. I know either with your hand or with a spoon or something to bruise it, so while you could cause the juices to come out of the cabbage that you have shredded in the jar, and you'll watch it. It will make the juice that you are going to let that cabbage sit in to turn to sauerkraut. Is that not amazing? My son got me this book, so I work out of that book for different things. And all of the vegetables that you plant, guys, they will go to seed. I don't care what plant it is. All of them, they go to seed, because God told us in Genesis. Oh, I tell you what, these shoulders are no joke. Genesis 1, verse 29. I have went there several times. Genesis 1, verse 29. It says, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed. He's given us every herb bearing seed. Everything bears a seed. Everything. God given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth. I mean, they're everywhere. Everywhere. And every tree in thee which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. Every apples, oranges, peach trees, pear trees, passion fruit, guava fruit, every seed, every tree that bears a fruit has a seed. Persimmons, they have seeds. So he gave every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. God supplied us with everything. We don't have to hunt. We don't have to go modify a plant. God modified it for us. What a mighty God we serve. That's something man can't ever do. He can never replace the person and the being of God. I think that's our problem. They want to be in control of everything. And the most upsetting thing to a human being is that they cannot control what goes on in the earth. God can. That's why when I go looking for grapes, I do not buy the grapes they have in the stores. Why? They don't have seeds. God didn't create that. That's modified. I don't eat oranges that don't have seeds. That's not God's orange. The apple, if apples don't have seeds, leave them alone. So he tells you in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, what he did. He did not produce a plant that does not have a seed. Blackberries have seeds, blueberries, everything, every seed that God created, every fruit on this earth. Kiwi, I hate kiwi, so I will never grow it. But it has a seed. Everything that we like has a seed. Look at ginger. You can grow ginger from a piece of ginger out of the grocery store. You can grow an onion from the bottom of the onion. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Lord. I got one. Look at that. You see it right there at the bottom? This right here. When you cut that off, see, it's already got roots that have come out on this onion. When you cut that off, sit it in some water, let those roots spread out under there and watch for other roots. And when they start to spreading out up under here, you can sit this in some water or you can put it in some dirt. I got several that I got outside in dirt they have started growing the green onions on the top. And they'll stay there and they'll grow those green onions and they'll produce a onion, or you can just snip those green onions off when they get a certain height. Come in, chop them up, eat them however you want them. You want to season your food once you got your greens cooked or whatever, and you want some onion in them. You know how some of us like onion in our greens. You can chop those off and chop them up and put them in your greens or whatever, or just eat them go eat them out of the backyard. But it's got the seeds. I hope you can see that it's got the root under there. And when I do what I'm going to do with this onion, this right here is going in some water so they can stretch out. I'm going to leave them in some water for like 7 days. And then I'm going to put it outside in the yard because this is onion planting season. They do really good this time of the year. So thank God for that. But we got everything we need, everything. Every pepper has seeds, and we know that because when we cut those peppers open, oh my God, more seeds than you want to deal with. The turnip greens, my collard greens, once they start going to seed, and you'll know they're headed that way because they'll get stems that shoot up out of the collard plant. They'll shoot straight up, and they'll start branching out, and they'll get these little things on there that look kind of like a banana. Like a half moon, a fingernail. Know how the moon looks. They'll look like that, and those little pods have seeds in them, and you can start the process all over. And even with basil, if you got a basil plant, that basil plant, he'll get so big and he'll start shooting those shoots out. They'll have those little flowers on there, and once they open up and flower, they start closing up and they'll turn brown. Just go snip them off, put them in a brown paper bag, and let them continue drying out. And after that's like 3 weeks. That's how long I leave mine. And then just shake that bag, and you'll hear them falling out of those little pods. But everything God gave us, even let me show you. Hang on, I'm all over the camera. I'm sorry, but either way it goes, I want to learn us because we need to know. All of us need to know. You see this sweet potato? Put this sweet potato in some water, okay? Let him start putting those green shoots out on the top. Or if you lay it on the side, however you put this in some water, just leave it there. Set it and forget it. After a couple of days, go check it because these things drink a lot of water. I have two in the bathroom that have got a little bitty sprout on them, but they drink a lot of water. I don't even understand how they do it. But that's God's business. That's not mine. All I know is they drink a lot of water. So, and they'll get these green shoots that'll come up. You see them start popping up out of the skin. The stems are like purple. Some are green, some are purple, but they'll shoot out and then they'll pop out these green leaves all over them. They're small. I let mine get about this high, and you start pinching them off. Start pinching them off, right? Just pulling them out of the potato and sit them in some water. 2 days later, they have roots. I kid you not. And then you just leave it. If you want to use that as your sweet potato uh, grower, because you can get hundreds of sweet potatoes from one sweet potato. Leave it and let this just be the tuber that does everything. And then once it starts to doing those shoots, breaking those shoots out, you let them get like about like that. Break it off, stick them in some water. I'm telling you, 2 days later, they've already started rooting. And then just leave them there. Leave them there 2-3 weeks. If you think the roots are sufficient enough for you to start growing, I would love to have a garden. Unfortunately, I live in an apartment and have no access to a yard where I can plant. You can grow on your. Do you have a pantry? If you got in a place in your yard on at your apartment where you can go out and on your balcony and smell the fresh air? Are you just confined? You have no opening. If you have a patio door, or if you have a front door, you can plant stuff outside on the sides of the porch, or you can plant it on the inside. You can grow food in the house. My sister grew herbs on her pantry, on her patio, but she did have some stuff growing inside. Cause I got stuff growing inside. You can grow inside. Separate a part of the room, whichever one of the room, wherever you want to start it, and make sure it's got a lot of lighting. Keep it watered. You can grow your greens. You can grow whatever you want to in your apartment. Google it. They got everything on that. Go on YouTube. YouTube would tell you how to grow your stuff in your house. You can grow tomatoes in the house. I mean, and look at the plants that have male and female reproductive flowers. That way you don't have to worry about trying to get bees to pollinate them, because the like zucchini, squash, I think, and cucumbers, they have male and female flowers that will fertilize that female flower. And the next thing you know, boom, you got some cucumbers growing, you got zucchini growing, you got squash growing. They have the male and female reproductive organs. Look at God. God got everything situated for his people. Everything. And you can grow the beans in. I don't think the beans have to be pollinated, because I never saw anything floating around mine, but I could have missed them. But you could grow beans, whatever. You can grow it inside. But if where you live, if you got space on the outside of your door, your space, you can put your tomato plant out there. You don't need but one. Put a tomato plant out there. Sit it on the outside of the door, and put it in a pot, big enough, because tomato plants, they will run after they get so big. And just get a trellis and sit it on it and prop it outside. Now, when the tomatoes start growing, don't leave it out there, because your neighbors. by the time by the time you want a tomato, your neighbors probably come over there and gather. But either way it goes, you can do it that way. You can grow something. And your turnip greens and your collard greens, you can grow those in the house. You don't have to take them outside like I showed you. Hang on one sec, guys. Hang on. Okay, this one is dry. I got to put some water on it. But I missed this one and three others when I went outside and up potted them to put them back out in the raised bed. But they are growing in the house. They were about this big when I brought them in. I make sure they got their forever leaves started on them. And I bring them in. I put them in pots like this, in cups like this with a hole in the bottom. And I let them grow inside. So they've been growing on this rack I have over here, but I missed these. It's four of them. So I'm going to take them outside. But you see what it's doing? It's growing in the house. It's growing in here. You can plant you some turnip green, mustard green, collard green, whatever. You can plant it inside the house. And you can, the thing about it, you can start these now inside and just let them grow because this is their weather. They'll grow in here or they'll grow outside. Trust me, these are growing in here. That one that I showed yesterday, it was much bigger. And I took it and put it back outside. He was ready to be set free. So I put him back outside and set him free. I saturated him real good with some water. I'm going to leave them out there for a week and see how they do. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to feed them some bone meal and some blood meal. I'm going to sprinkle it across the soil where they are. And so, to feed them. But I want to let them adapt to the outside dirt now. They should be already adapted because I pulled them from that same dirt. This right here, I pulled this up outside when they got a certain height. And just like weeding them out, thinning them out, because some of them started getting big before the others, and then some of them I didn't get to catch. They was just everywhere before I could do anything. So they're just still growing outside. Like I said, I got collard greens out there that I didn't get to get, and they're big, so I'm gonna snip those off. And you snip the big leaves. These leaves, you know how big the collard green leaves get. When those leaves get really big, you snip those off and just let the others continue to grow. And before you know it, your collard green plant is really big. And you just study snipping and you snipping from the bottom up. It's just gonna create that stalk and it's gonna get bigger and it's gonna keep growing up. And you just snip them and snip them. If you see them looking like they're finna go to seed, cut the part off where it looks like they're finna start going to seed, and that way that collard green plant will keep growing. You'll keep getting collard greens. So you can grow your greenery in the house, and like I said, get you a tomato plant, put it in a big pot, sit it outside like you're growing a flower. And it's gonna grow. You'll see all those little bitty yellow flowers all over it everywhere. I had so many tomatoes, I just decided I was tired of going out there grabbing tomatoes, and I pulled up the vines and just can't do it anymore. I grow tomatoes and I don't eat them. I don't like tomatoes. I like ketchup, tomato sauce, tomato paste, fried green tomatoes, but there's just something about a red tomato that does not sit well on my palate. So I don't eat them. I grow them because my son likes them, and my sisters and brothers like them. My neighbor likes them, but sister, I don't like tomato. And I guess that's why they do so good for me because they know, well, she ain't gonna eat it. We can just keep on growing, keep on growing. Yep, they just keep on growing. And I just let the neighbor know when there's a lot of them out there to come on over here and get you some of these tomatoes, because if not, they're gonna fall on the ground and gonna rot. But my son loves them. He got them on a sandwich or he just eating them. He's like my mom. My mom used to just pull them off of the vine outside and go to eating. And I just be looking at her like, but we do what we do. Now, I'm not saying I won't ever eat a red tomato. We don't know what we come into. That tomato just may save my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to cast it down. I'm going to try something small and see what happens. Something simple to get started. Yeah, start out small. Something that you like. But I'm telling you, you can grow that tomato, but you can grow those greens inside. You can have a turnip green patch sitting up there and the sun shining on it wherever. If you have, like I said, a patio door or sit them on the windowsill or, wherever, where they can get some light. And they need like 6 to 8 hours of sunlight in the morning time. So when the sun comes up, go slap them where they can get that sun and leave them there all day. And then once the you had 6 to 8 hours, you just pull them in, put them back where you raising them at, and go on about your business. That's what I do because I open a curtain and I just let them all grow in there because this one is doing good. She's ready to go back outside. She got a little baby leaf in here that's in there. I would tilt it so you can see it, but it's dry and it'll fall on my laptop. Yeah, but either way it goes, yeah. I still got basil out there. I got to go and snip off so I can dry it out. I got all the seeds off, but I see more seeds are out there growing, so I'm gonna go get those seeds off. But like I said, um, I don't know if I wouldn't. Well, you might could do a sweet potato in the house. You can do a sweet potato in the house, but you got to have a a tub or a bucket. Cause when you plant these, uh, when you plant the shoots that come up, the roots are going to burrow all the way down through that dirt, and then they're going to start producing sweet potatoes. Uh, they're like what? These grow like a baby in the womb. They take a full 9 months. I let mine go an extra month. So when I pull them up, they look really good. I have some pictures from the last ones I dug up on my phone. But yeah, you can grow sweet potato. You can grow them in the house. Sweet potatoes do not have to be pollinated. Uh, White potatoes, I've never seen flowers on my white potatoes, but I leave my white potatoes I planted my potatoes in March and I started digging my potatoes up in the middle of like October. So you just like sit them and forget them. They grow this big old bodacious vine that runs all over the place. And then I just pull them and see how many come up. If they don't come up, I just shovel them up with the shovel and bring them in the house. But yeah, start off small. If you if you like greens, you can literally put your mustard and your turnip and your purple top turnip. What's the other one? Kale. You could mix those seeds and put them in a container and let them just grow up together. If you like them that way, I like mixed greens, but I didn't do them like that this time. Everything had its own row this year. I just did them like that, but they've turned out pretty good. So just start off small, and if you want to take a chance on a sweet potato, if you don't want to do you don't want to pull the shoots off of it when they start shooting out everywhere. You could set a potato in the center of a tub, a bucket, or whatever, and just let it just go to town. It'll work that way. It'll produce potatoes that way as well. So plain simple. I've been doing it for so long. Feel like ages, but I like doing it. It gives me something to do since I can't work. So I keep doing my garden, but I've been growing a garden since God first started telling me to grow one back in 2008, 2009. So I had to work and tend to that garden, which, It keeps your exercise. You getting your vitamin D from the sun. You go out chop the garden. You bending down, getting all your stuff. Nope, no. You don't need a lot of land to grow nothing. You don't need a lot of dirt to grow nothing. I stay in a subdivision and I plant my vegetables in my grow bags, my raised beds, my tubs, and my buckets. I got my grapevines in buckets. They do good. I put my tomatoes in tubs. Oh my God, they did too good. I got my bell peppers in a tub. It's four big things that look like trees in this one big tub. And they're towering over. They're so heavy they were just laying down. But no, I don't have a lot of land. If I had a lot of land, everybody would be out there picking up some vegetables because I have so much stuff planted. So that's next on my agenda. But for right now, I grow enough stuff to share. I mean it, and it grows very well. Thank God. My a friend of mine go, I don't know what kind of dirt you got in your yard. I said, what? It's just dirt. So either way it goes, everything grows back there. Nothing has died yet. Matter of fact, I trained my zucchinis to grow up a stick. So they grew up because if they grow laying down, anything can come and bite on them or stuff, or they'll lay there and rot if you miss them because I have four eyes and sometimes you cannot see those zucchinis because they're the color of the leaves. So I fixed that problem. I took the stems and tied them up on a string and put it at the top of the stick. And as they grew, I would adjust the string. And next thing you know, they were growing around the stick and they grew straight up. They turned out really good. They were some big zucchinis. So I did them that like that and the squash. But I think next year I'm just gonna go ahead on and do the trellis thing and let them grow up a trellis. But everything did well last year. Thank God. Live and nothing happened next year. I'm gonna do the same thing. And you see how many bell peppers. This is the last of the bell peppers right here. I've been getting bell peppers for a while. My brother came and picked them some. My sister, I gave her some. And so they were just producing. As a matter of fact, they're still producing out there. There are flowers at the top of the bell peppers, but I don't want them to go any further because I don't want the weather to sneak up on me. I mean, it's already cool outside now. Let me see. What is the degree outside? Okay, it's 56 degrees outside here. So I don't want the temperature to go into its 40s, and I haven't went and pulled my bell pepper plants and bought them in to overwinter them. So probably between now and the weekend and Saturday, tomorrow, I'll probably go out there and go head on and deal with that daunting task of pulling them up and bringing them inside. If you can grow a house plant, you can grow some food. Promise you. If you got a place where you got your plants, get you a rack. You know those racks with the six shelves on it? Or you don't even have to get one that dramatic. Get you one with the four shelves on it. And put it together and sit it where it will get sun. Plant your seeds and watch them grow. Because that's all I do. And like I said, they grow really well. I had got a place set up in the garage, even with the like a little greenhouse sitting over the top of the shelves where I put some of the baby seeds to let them grow out under the garage with the grow light on them. So you can order grow lights, or you can order the whole kit and caboodle, and everything comes with it. Go on Amazon. Amazon got everything. If Amazon ain't got it, Temu has it. So, and you can do it that way. It's I even got broccoli, not broccoli, yeah, broccoli growing outside. Uh, because this is the season for it as well. I think because I Googled it in September. They asked what could I plant in September. It said broccoli. Then October it said broccoli, and in November, so the broccoli is still out there, and everything's out there growing. But you can grow it inside. Broccoli doesn't have any. Doesn't I don't think it has to be pollinated. I've never seen broccoli with a flower on it. I've seen the broccoli crowns, so I'm pretty sure you can grow that on the inside. But it only grows that one crown, and then the other crowns are little bitty baby ones that shoot out around it. But it will go to seed as well. So you can get those seeds off. They do their seeds do exactly like the collard green or the turnip green seed does. But yeah, you can do it. Start out small. You want some turnip greens? You can get those aluminum pans that you can go over and get at the Dollar Tree and the Dollar General. Dollar Tree, they're cheaper. Go and get some of those. Put holes in one. Set it down in another one the same size. Put the dirt in there and make you some little rows and put your seeds in there. Label what's in that pan. Water it real good. And just sit back and watch it grow. Take some saran wrap, seal it on the top. I always put mine all the way over it and wrap it in it, and it makes like an incubator. And before you know it, 2 or 3 days, your seeds are up. And then you take that plastic off, because if you don't, they will start getting real long and lanky. And you don't want that. You want to just take them off when you see the seeds coming up, and sit them back in the sun, and let them reach for the sun instead of struggling to get sunlight. Because if you do, they get long and lanky, and that's just a horse of a different color. But this is something you can do. This will keep your mind. This will keep your mind occupied as long while you're doing that, and as well as growing them. Once they get a certain size, and you like tender greens, some people, you heard the old folks say, "Oh, I like the greens when they tender." I don't know what is tender, but they talk about when they're little. The little bitty ones. Uh, I like mine to get big, but I'll eat the tender ones. If push come to shove, if that's all up, we're gonna snip them off. We're gonna bring them on in the house, and we're gonna put them in a pot and eat them, cook them and eat them. So, but I'm excited. You can do it. Go ahead, get your seeds. Like I said, you can do carrots too, Angela. You can do your carrots. They'll grow inside. They don't have to be pollinated. Trust me, I know. Put them in a grow bag, put them in a tub, put them in a planter. Uh, I just put like about 15 seeds in there. Space them out, put the 15 seeds in there, water them, cover them up with some saran wrap, and let them have their little incubation period. And then when you see them come up, take that off. Like I said, sit them in the sun. Carrots are slow to grow, but while they're growing, you can look at them and watch them grow. And the leaf, the greenery on the top, you could snip that off and cut that up and put that in a salad, because all of it is edible. Everything that you're growing out there in that yard, you can eat the sweet potato leaves because they're edible. I mean, you can eat all of that. You can eat the blackberry leaves off of the blackberry tree. I did not know that. What I was doing every year, cutting them off, cutting them back, pruning them back down to a stub. But you can eat the blackberry leaves. You can eat the roses. I grow roses in the backyard. You can eat the leaves. You can make a tea out of the rosebud tea. I did not know that. So I learned as I go too, because despite popular belief, I do not know everything. I know because I read. And I've always been curious. I would go, what will happen if I do this? What will happen if I do that? I like to read. I'm curious. I've never been interested in science, but I'm always been curious about different things. So I read. If I think it's gonna benefit me, I read and figure it out and then go from there. And everything that I grow, it come from trial and error, whether it come up or not. You got to make sure the soil is right. What did I put the right things in the soil? And I find that chicken manure mixed in your soil, that does good. And some things like your collard greens, you mix your collard green dirt with like a little sand, a little chicken manure, maybe some black cow or something, and mix it up, and they'll grow. Because my the collard greens are doing really good in the soil that I mixed up this year. Last year they did well. Every year they did well. I froze them. I canned them. I made green powder out of them so I could put them in a smoothie. But all of it, every bit of it grows. You'd be amazed. And if you go to grocery stores, when you're ordering your food, and they're bringing your groceries to the house and stuff, uh order you some order a thing of green onions. Okay, the green onions they sell in the little twisty tie thing, like 12 of them in a stem. You can grow those. Cut the onion off, the green onion part off, leave a little bit of it on there, a little bit of the green, like about that big long. Set those in a cup of water and watch what happens after a couple of days. Just watch. Whether you put them in dirt or not, they will produce green onions until you sick of green onions. But you stick them in dirt or you leave them in that water. Mine grew in water until I finally got tired of looking at them in that water, and I put them out in the yard. But I was still study cutting green onions off. That same thing goes with the leeks. If you like leeks, get a pack of leeks. I think they come like 3, but they're really big. And you cut them off, chop them all up, put them in freezer bag. Because I mix mine in with my different soups, or different things that I cook in my greens or whatever. And set the white part with a little bit of the hint of green on it at the top. Set that part in some water and watch those roots stretch out, and then they'll start back to growing the leeks on the top. You can plant those, put them in a pot, and let them grow, and then you got leeks forever. So it was interesting to me because I tried it. I wouldn't be saying anything about it had not I tried it myself. So I try anything, and if it works, then I just keep doing it. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. I ordered a, what is that? A cranberry bush. When it got here, the leaf that was on it was broke. I bought it sending it back. So what I did was I planted it and I watered it, and now it's got little leaf buds on there. They're real little, but it's getting ready to put back out. So I did good by not throwing it away or shipping it back. I don't like to ship anything back. I'll try it and make sure and pray it doesn't die and go from there. But either way it goes, I still got 4 of these that I missed that I got to go outside and plant. So I'm going to be back off to the races. Like I said, I got the hens are in here with the water, with the seasonings, with the carrots, the celery, and the onions. I'm going to let those cook until in the morning. I'm going to take the chickens out and let them cool, and I'm going to pull that meat off, and then we're going to can that up, and then I'm going to let that put the bones back in, and I'm going to let them cook until the next day. And then I'm going to strain it real good. Excuse me. And then I'm going to put those in the pressure canner next. So I'll have the broth. And like I said, the broth is good for the stomach. It's good for what ails you. It's got a whole lot of minerals and nutrients in it. You can Google and find out everything that you need for what they have in them. And when I Google stuff, I write it down and I put everything in a folder, because who's to say? We don't know how long YouTube will be up and running. At blackouts, they talk about blackouts gonna be hitting all over and all that. So it's best to have stuff written hard copy. So that's what I do. Just write it down. If it's a recipe I want, I write it down. That way I don't have to go back trying to hunt it on YouTube or anything. I just go to the notebook and open it up and follow the recipe and do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make some ketchup, guys. Homemade ketchup. I don't know what day I'm gonna start it, but I'm gonna start it. And when I do, I'm gonna take y'all along for the ride. And it's gonna be fun. I like to teach and then I like to learn. So I found this recipe that this lady had on YouTube about making ketchup, and she said it tastes better than Heinz. So I'm gonna try that next. I'm gonna see where that gets me because I've already made barbecue sauce. I made my hot pepper sauce. Um, what else? I got all my cucumbers pickled and canned, and my tomatoes canned. I made some tomatoes. I made some spaghetti sauce. Um, that's about it. But my next venture is going to be ketchup. So I think I got everything I need for the ketchup. The one thing I haven't got tomatoes. So if I hadn't broke those vines down, I could have went outside and got some tomatoes, but it'll be all right. But either way it goes, I got four more collard green slips that I got to take back outside. They ready to go back to the home that I took them from when they were ever so small, and I'm going to put them right back out there with everything else. But guys, y'all have a blessed day. But Angela, you go ahead on and try it. It's gonna work, and then you're gonna be amazed. Then you're gonna be hooked, and then you're gonna expand it bigger. But as long as it's getting sunlight and you watch your watering, you know, I wait and water when you see that they have, like tilted over, or when you stick your finger in the dirt. I'm sure you know when your plants need water. You just stick your finger down a certain uh few inches, and if it feels dry all the way down the way, then you know you need to water a little bit. But yes, I'm excited for you. Because every time I see something grow outside, I be excited. I be just clapping my hands. My son be looking at me like I'm crazy, but I be excited. I'm excited about food. I like to eat. I'm not a big girl, but I like to eat. So that's what I do. That's my passion, just growing stuff. Some of my plants, my live plants, they don't do as well as my food does. But we're working on that. I've got a big blueberry bush in here. I bought a fresh one. I bought it back in October. But I don't put them outside or plant them until the following year. So she is sitting in my kitchen. I haven't decided on what name to give her, but all my plants have names. So my peach trees, I named one of my peach trees after my sister that passed. I named one after my friend. I gave a couple of them just different names. And my blueberry bushes, they have names. My blackberry bush has a name. Even a baby she has a name. I go outside, I talk to my plants. How y'all doing? The only person here, I talk to God and I talk to my plants. If I feel like getting on the telephone, I'll get on the telephone. But if I have a day where I don't want to be bothered on the telephone, I don't pick it up. Like yesterday was a day I did not want to talk on the phone. Not because there was anything wrong. Sometimes I like to just shut down. So if God has to upload anything, I'm free and clear of anything that may be said in a conversation on the phone or anything. You know what I'm saying? Try to keep negativity out of your mouth, out of your thoughts, so that you won't speak anything out of your mouth. So that's what I do. But yesterday was a day for not getting on the phone. So that's what I did. And today is, I don't think it's not any, well, I've been on the phone a little bit today, but yesterday was just one of those days, just shut down. Sometimes just shut down, cut it off sometimes so God can talk to you. But either way it goes, I got four more plants I got to go outside and plant. And guys, share the video. I don't want anything in return. Just share the video. I'm just trying to teach people what I know. I don't know much, but what I know, I'm more than happy to teach it. explain it to you to the best of my ability in my wording. I don't use big words because why use a big word that you may not spell it right? So I just plain English always. I've always loved English, but I wasn't caught up on all the big words because you know simple words is what gets your point across. People understand plain and simple. I'm plain and simple. Country Nancy from the country. But either way it goes, guys, have a blessed day. I'm gonna go put these other plants outside and I'm gonna check on my chicken and see how it's doing because it smells good. And I'm gonna go from there. But y'all have a blessed one. I'm looking forward to Bible study myself. Probably around about 7 we'll start. And I'll talk to you. I'll be back on before then because I gotta show how to can this chicken and then show how to do the broth. So just be blessed.